To plaintiff Robbie Parker. A, defamation/slander damages past and future, $60 million.
Yeah.
B, emotional distress damages past and future, $60 million. Total fair, just, and reasonable damages, $1. Initialed by jury.
Get those numbers up.
To plaintiff Mark Barden. A,
$257 million right now. Come on, go.
Slander damages
More than
past
that.
and future, $25 million.
That's better.
B, emotional distress damages past and future, $32,600,000.
Never said their names, all
Total
made
fair,
up.
just, and reasonable damages.
Hilarious.
Alex Jones is facing some consequences for his the defamation lawsuits that are going on here. And the decision came down on Wednesday that he's gonna have to pay nearly $1 billion. That's with a B. After all those came through, you see Alex Jones was in his studio there reacting after the verdict had happened, sarcastically, mockingly at, again, these parents who are still family members of those victims that are still grieving, partially because of how badly he's added a level of grief to their process here. He tried his best to act like it was such a great thing and how awesome it is, and I can't believe they're doing this. He's been pushing the sarcasm about how he's responsible for everything lately because he's frustrated by people paying attention to what he's been doing. Let's watch more about that because he wasn't done.
And against Alex Jones and free speech systems at line A and line B.
Why are these numbers only in the millions? It should be trillions per person. I'm offended. Do these people actually think they're getting any money?
Do these people think they're actually getting any money? That's the next line of his thought process. Laughing at it, mocking, they're not getting any money. These people, I can't believe it. As we go through this and we talk about the potential or what people claimed, his apologies and everything, I want you guys to pay attention to his energy and attitude after all this is going down. Either way it goes, he said no one's gonna get a penny of this stuff, but at the same time, he is asking for some money. I wonder where that's gonna go. Let's watch him ask.
They want to scare everybody away from freedom and scare us away from questioning Uvalde and what really happened there or Parkland or any other event. And guess what? We're not scared and we're not going away and we're not going to stop. And literally for hundreds of thousands of dollars, I can keep them in court for years. I can appeal this stuff. We can stand up against this travesty, against the billions of dollars they want. It's a joke. So please go to InfoWarsStore.com and get Vitamin Mineral Fusion, get X3, get all the great products that are there that keep us on air at InfoWarsStore.com.
You know, it's about those products. It's not about what they can do for you. It's about buying those so you can keep me on the air. Not because vitamin mineral X or whatever the hell he's talking about, steel wool in your throat, whatever it is. Not that it's helpful, that it'll keep me on air. Here's some details for I'll open it up to you, Jordan, here. As this jury again decided just on Wednesday that Infowars founder Alex Jones must pay, here's the exact amount, $965 million for spewing lies about the 2012 Sandy Hook elementary school shooting, calling it a hoax, and that the grieving parents involved were paid actors. That's really nice. The money will go straight to the pockets of family members who lost children in the massacre and to an FBI agent who was harassed by Jones's listeners. That particular person kind of get lost in the mix because of how many children were killed here. There were also 15 plaintiffs in total to total that amount. Again, this is added on to the 49 million from the previous decision for, I believe it was 2 families in that particular case. There's more info on this. There's one huge defender that we need to go ahead and debunk. But first, initial thoughts, Jordan.
I mean, this couldn't happen to a worse person. Alex Jones is absolutely vile. He has just totally spiraled downward over the past 10, 15 years or so. In his early career, he was kind of funny when he was mostly harmless. Just, typical, harmless conspiracy theories, aliens, secret societies, whatnot. But like that quest for more and more viewers, I think it shows just how digital culture and having like an internet first based career can really warp your brain because you really are just always chasing the dragon. Like more and more viewers, more and more engagement. And that led him down some really dangerous paths, and he's inflicted real harm on families who were traumatized. Just looking at that footage, like the sadness from those parents who will never see their kids again, and he's reveling in it, saying he'll never pay them. It also shows how people abuse the bankruptcy process. And looking at those parents, then also before we did the show today, I saw the Parkland verdict was coming out and the sentencing in the Parkland case, and just seeing the same sorts of faces on those parents. And I can't even imagine how traumatizing that must be to sit through a hearing like that as your life is litigated in a courtroom and knowing you'll never see your child again. I think it just shows just how off the rails he is, that he's gleefully saying they'll never see that money. It should be in the trillions, and then hawking garbage minerals and supplements to rake in more money. It really shows this is ultimately what it's about for him. It's just making money off of people's pain.
People were saying that he's worth what at least he and his businesses are worth between 135 and 270 million, which obviously is much smaller than $965 million number. So that's why he's trying to save Infowars, keep it around. And by the way, we're gonna skip through some of these graphics, but just the fact he goes, as long as you guys give me hundreds of thousands of dollars, I can hold this up in court for long enough. In other words, nothing about justice, nothing about getting to a conclusion. I just want to keep harassing them as long as possible and drag this out. Give me money to help be an extremely bad guy. There's other words I would have used if we weren't on air, but I think you guys know what some of those are. They also match up with this particular person who was defending Jones. Let's go to Marjorie Taylor Greene's tweet here, you guys, graphic 5 down here at the bottom. Because of course she's defending him on nonsense. She says, no matter what you think of Alex Jones, all he did was speak words. He was not the one who pulled the trigger. Were his words wrong and did he apologize? She says yes. That's what freedom of speech is. Freedom to speak words. Political persecution must end. Pause there, you guys, because she says political persecution must end. So this is about politics. I'm gonna tell you why this is about politics, because people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, politician, people like Matt Gaetz, politician, people like Donald Trump, politician, conservative pundits, political speakers, all side with Alex Jones throughout this entire process, sided with him after he did it, and people saw how horrific it was and said, let's continue to prop up Alex Jones. Let's promote him as a key member of the conservative movement after he obviously was coming after these families on this fake BS. That's why it's political. So now you've associated yourself and connected yourself to this conspiracy theorist who's gone after families, had his followers threaten them after they've lost their children, and now it's political because of you, Marjorie Taylor Greene, that it's political. And also, did he apologize in words or just words? Think about all the words that conservatives don't like that anyone else says that they don't agree with. Are they just words to them? Or are they the end of our country, coming for your children? Teaching is gonna kill them. History lessons, harmful. Those are words, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Why are you so against words? It's freedom of speech, right? Unless it's this kind of speech you just don't like, Jordan.
What Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't seem to understand or doesn't want to understand is that freedom of speech isn't freedom from consequences. You could say most anything, but there's limits. And I think we can all agree that there are some reasonable limits. The common one is can't yell fire in a crowded theater. That's fighting words, threats, those are typically not protected. But things like this, sure, you could say it's free speech, but that doesn't mean other people can be, can't be upset or react or retaliate, which is what the parents did here. So it's this really dumb understanding of free speech that conservatives like to latch onto and trot it out when something really heinous or offensive happens. It's used to defend racism, it's used to defend sexism or other forms of bigotry. And here, harassing, threatening, maligning, libeling parents of victims of an elementary school shooting, which is something that you're gonna have to face a consequence for. So, societal consequences aren't the same thing as infringing on free speech. That's not the government coming in and saying, hey, you are legally not allowed to say this. It's, families filed a civil suit. There's nothing that protects you in the Constitution. There's nothing that protects you from that.
And there has to be something that protects these families from the actual violence that was at their front door based off of that free speech that Marjorie Taylor Greene is still defending. Don't forget who she is.